sides are well acquainted with. And it is my intention to ask him about his prior felony convictions or elicit from him the fact that he has them. What I wanted to address outside the presence of the jury is the fact that under the rule, you don't get into the facts of the underlying case because that is no longer, that's not at issue. And I hope to avoid me having to object on cross to that type of testimony. Perhaps the defense doesn't intend to elicit that anyway, but Mr. Simmons didn't ask him and he didn't confirm that, so I thought better address it now before the jury comes in.
But we're not going to get into that. I mean, we're talking about that he had rape convictions. Is that what you're saying? You're going to mention that it's a rape conviction?
Absolutely. Both sides are entitled to get in the conviction.
What the conviction is, she said the underlying facts. Those convictions cannot be considered except for the purpose of his credibility. So underlying facts will not be coming in. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Bring her, jury. Okay, 15 turned into 45, but we're ready to go, okay? Call your next.
We called before the break Terry Britt.
The next witness will be in Department of Correction uniform as well as some safeguards. You're not to draw any inference at all concerning his credibility based upon that. And then also I will tell you, we had that with the earlier witness, if you find that someone's been convicted of prior crimes, you can only consider that for the purpose of the effect, if any, on their credibility as a witness, okay? All right, raise your right hand, please. Solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, be seated. What's you state your first and last name, spell it for the benefit of the court reporter, please.
Terry Britt, Terry-Britt.
Thank you. You can proceed.
Mr. Britt, you are wearing, I guess, TDOC uniform, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you currently incarcerated?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you tell the jury what you're currently incarcerated for?
Kidnapping, attempted rape.
And I believe you finish your sentence next year, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that will have been a total of 8 years?
Yes, ma'am. Well, 6, 9.
And when you get out of jail or prison next year, you start doing some federal time for 2 guns, a pistol, and a rifle.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and I really just want to get this out of the way because that's not what you're here for today. Before these current charges that you're serving time for and the gun charges that you have to serve time for, you have other convictions in your history?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you tell the jury what those convictions were for? And if you remember, how much time you had to do on them?
Had a rape charge, and a robbery charge.
Can you speak up a little?
Rape charge, robbery charge, burglary, receiving, concealing stolen property. I don't know, but I got about 25 years done.
So you said a total of like 25 years for all of your charges put together? And you're in your 50s, is that correct?
58.
So a large portion of your adult life, you've been locked up.
Pretty much.
So I want to go back to 2011
Okay.
and ask, where were you living at that time? I'm not asking for your address, but just the town.
Parsons, Tennessee.
And who did you live with?
Janet Britt.
And that's your wife?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long have the two of you been married?
I think we got married in 2004.
Do you remember hearing, and you have a shoulder injury, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And I'm just saying that because I see you rubbing in case they're wondering what's
Yeah.
going on. Do you remember hearing that a young lady by the name of Holly Bobo had come up missing from her parents' home there in Parsons?
Yes, ma'am.
Prior to hearing that news, did you know Holly Bobo?
No, ma'am.
Did you know Dana Bobo,
No, ma'am.
Karen Bobo,
No, ma'am.
Clint Bobo,
No, ma'am.
any of their family?
I ain't never met none of them.
Had you ever been to their home on Swan Johnson?
Not that I know. No, not that. No, ma'am.
Right. And where did you and your wife, what road did you and your wife live on?
Jeanette.
Jeanette.
Jeanette Holly Road.
Okay. Now, is that close to John Holiday Road? Or do you know? Like a little cut-through road?
I don't know.
And that's the right answer. If I or anybody asks you something that you don't know, just tell us.
Okay.
Okay? So after you heard that Holly Bobo was missing from her home, did you know that you would immediately be someone that law enforcement would look at?
Yeah, I've heard it.
And that's because of your history.
Right.
Right. Despite having that knowledge, or with that knowledge, do you remember law enforcement coming and interviewing you about Miss Bobo?
They pulled up in the driveway that morning. Me and my wife just got trying to load the tub. We went to Camden and bought, and we just got through unloading it. And they pulled up in the driveway there and asked me where I'd been.
And you were with do you remember what time of day it was? And if you don't, it's okay.
I don't know what time they pulled up, no, but I mean, no, that morning.
The morning that it happened? Mm-hmm. And at the time that they pulled up, you were actually there with your wife, unloading some,
Yes,
you were
ma'am.
remodeling the bathroom?
Right.
Okay. So after that day, were you aware that law enforcement had tapped your telephones?
No, ma'am.
Were you aware that for the first time in the state of Tennessee, they had actually bugged your house?
No, ma'am.
Were you aware that they were conducting covert surveillance? You know what I mean by that?
I have no idea.
And you know what I mean by that? In other words, watching you when you didn't see them.
I didn't know it. I didn't know they were. No.
Do you remember, or did they come and actually search your house at some point?
Yeah.
Did they search your outbuildings or attack garages, sheds, that kind of thing?
Well, they see how they do it. They come up with a couple of charges so they could hold me in jail all day,
Right?
and they went out to my house, and from what I hear, they blocked the roads off, set up a crime scene out there.
Let me ask you this. So you weren't present when they actually searched your house?
No, I was in jail.
Okay. And to explain that for the jury, you were on parole for one of your previous convictions?
No, I was not on parole.
Or probations?
No,
Nothing?
no.
All right. So was this over the reporting of your job?
Yes.
Okay. And I'll do my best to ask questions that make sense. Were you working as a contractor for the newspaper there in Parsons?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is that something you were supposed to report?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That was not under the table work, though. You were actually a contract laborer for the newspaper, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And had you reported that to the person you were supposed to report it to?
Yes, ma'am.
And in the end, that person failed to report it up the chain, is that correct?
She wouldn't write it down. She said that I didn't have to, that contract labor didn't have to be
It had to be reported.
put down. And I told her several times, and she just kept saying, "Don't worry about it, I got this."
Right. And ultimately, when they found out, she backed you up, didn't she?
Yeah.
She
Mhm.
admitted you had reported it.
Yes, ma'am.
But despite that fact, you had to do how much time on that?
3 months in jail, 9 months probation, about $1,000 fine.
Okay. All of that kept you from being home, and you were not present when they searched your house?
No. I weren't in the jail for, I hadn't been convicted of nothing
I know.
when they searched my house.
Okay, but that's what put you in jail, or you were in jail for all day?
And driving on revoke, they
Okay.
charged me with
All
that.
right. So when you came back home from that, could you tell that someone had searched your property? Were your things moved around?
They was a TBI or FBI one come back there. They kept me locked up all day, wouldn't tell me nothing. And when he come back there and took my fingerprints, he says, "So hey Britt, if Jennifer agrees to what you're saying about she knew about."
Not me, Jennifer.
No.
Not Miss Thompson, not that Jennifer.
No,
The different Jennifer.
the Jennifer that I had to report to.
Okay,
If she agrees to what you're saying is true, then I'll let you go on your own recovery. You ain't gonna make no bond.
right.
I said, okay. So he goes on and he comes back and he said, well, she agreed to it. So they let, it was dark time when they let me go that night.
Okay. So when you got home, could you tell or
Yeah,
not?
they had cut pieces of material off the couch. My shop trailer busted the door in, took my vans, computers, it's a mess. Destroyed it.
Made a mess of your property. All right. Mr. Britt,
I fixed it all back.
did you, after all of that, after the searching of your house, taking your cars, taking your computers, bugging your phones, bugging your house, were you charged with anything to do with Holly Bobo's
No,
case?
no ma'am.
Okay. You understand that your name has been brought up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know, I'm telling you, if your name has been brought up in this trial as a potential suspect, tell the jury, did you kidnap, rape, murder Holly Bobo?
No, I didn't. I didn't know a girl. Never seen her in my life that I know of.
Are you a telephone expert?
No, ma'am.
Are you a GPS expert?
No, ma'am.
If Ms. Thompson or Mr. Simmons or Mr. Gonzalez asked you, that's the defense attorneys, ask you questions about where your phone was at a particular time, or where, do you have a memory from 2011 about where your phone was or where your wife's phone might have been during particular times?
It was either in the vehicle or at the house, one of the two.
Okay, in the vehicle with us or in the house? So, but my question is, do you have a specific recollection, say, of where your phone might, what tower your phone might have been
Oh,
pinging
no,
off of?
no.
All right, so you're not going to be able to answer those questions.
No.
Would you be able to answer questions about where your wife's phone would be pinging, what tower she'd be pinging off of during that time?
No, ma'am.
Don't have any information about that at all?
No, ma'am.
May I have one moment, Your Honor?
You may. Examination.
Hello, Mr. Britt. I'm Jennifer Thompson. We've actually met before, haven't we?
Yes, ma'am.
I came to visit you when you were at prison in, is it Northwest Correctional Facility?
I think it's West High.
Pardon?
I think you come to West High, didn't you?
Okay. And we talked at that time about the fact that you had been a suspect in the Holly Bobo murder. Isn't that right?
The what now?
I'll just strike that question. We've talked before.
Right.
Okay. And so I want to go back over, you had an alibi that you gave to police on the day Holly disappeared, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And your alibi was that you woke up that morning about 6 o'clock a.m., wasn't it?
I think it's, yeah, I think so.
You had a cup of coffee.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You waited for your wife to wake up. She woke up about 8:30 or 9. Yes?
No, we was gone for then.
Okay. What time? So just tell us now, what is your alibi for that day, that morning?
We left and went to Camden at All Goods and bought a tub, bathtub, and I got a receipt for that.
Okay. So what time now do you say that your wife woke up?
I've never said what time she woke up.
So now, from your memory, what time did she wake
I
up?
can't tell you what time she woke up.
What time did you all leave your home that morning?
Probably about between 8.
Your Honor, I'm going to object unless he knows. He said probably about, and I don't think that's appropriate unless he has a specific memory. We can't just speculate.
He can answer the question,
No.
if he knows.
Approximately what time did you leave that morning?
Probably 8-ish, something like that.
8 o'clock. Okay, where did you go first?
8 or a little after. I didn't say 8 o'clock now. I said 8-ish, 8-ish.
Okay, so around 8 o'clock.
No,
8-ish.
okay.
Where did you go first?
We went to, I think we went to Camden, All Goods.
Now, which All Goods did you go to?
To my opinion, best I can remember, there's only one over there.
Okay, which one is that?
Well, they might be two. You're right. That's right. One sells rugs up the road. I went to the one on the left that sells. They sell everything pretty much. Pretty much everything.
So if I said it's All Goods Salvage, does that sound right to you?
It might be.
Okay. When you say it's on the left-hand side, can you describe where the building sits?
Well, you go left. You turn left, and you go down a hill. It's down in there.
Okay, and what road are you on when you turn left? What highway is it off of?
Whatever highway it is going to Camden. I don't know.
If I say
I can't answer that.
641, does that sound right?
You said what?
641. Does Highway 641 sound right to you?
Yeah, I guess.
Is it the same highway that goes from I-40 to Parsons?
Mm-hmm.
Can you answer out
Yes,
loud?
yes.
So you went up there first, and what did you do when you were there?
Look for tubs.
Okay. What kind of tub were you looking for in particular?
Just, nothing in particular, just a bathtub.
Okay. So what did you do next? You go there looking for tubs. What do you do next?
We left there. We found one, but we left there and went to Decatur, I think it was, over at that place over at sells tubs over. Well, we stopped at the newsleader first, so when she let them know that she was going to take the rest of the day off because we had a bad leak, and we went over to I don't know what that place is over there. I forget the name of it, but we went over there and looked. And that tub over there was too big. There's no way we could have got it down the little hallway that we in our house. So then we went back to Camden and bought that one.
Okay. Do you remember how much you paid for the tub?
300 maybe. I don't know. I don't remember.
Once you purchased the tub, what did you do?
Maybe 300. What did we do?
Right.
We loaded it up and drove about 20 to 30 mile an hour all the way from Camden back to the house because it was so big in the back of the truck. We had it tied down, but it was an enclosed thing, you know what I'm saying, the tub. So
Okay. So approximately what time did you purchase the tub from All Goods?
I can't tell you that.
How long? If
That
you,
y'all got the receipt? I mean,
well, I'm just asking what time you purchased the tub.
And Your Honor, he said he didn't remember.
So how long did it take you to drive from your house to All Good Salvage to begin with? Can you approximate that for me?
Let's see. 30 minutes maybe, 45 minutes, something like that. I don't know.
Okay, and then how long did you stay there looking at the tub the first time?
How long did I stay at All Goods the first time I went there?
Yes.
I can't answer that. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I mean, how long do you stay somewhere when you go look for something?
I'm just asking you to
Well, I
estimate.
mean, I don't know.
Your Honor, he said he didn't know.
Okay.
But I can tell you this, though. But we was back at the house with the tub before lunch.
Okay, you're at the house before lunch.
Because that's when the law pulled up.
And you said you strapped it into your pickup. Which pickup truck did you strap it into?
I only got one. Well, I had two. But the Ford,
So
I only got one now, though.
what color was the Ford?
It's gold, kind of gold like.
And it was an F-150?
Mm-hmm. The F-150, Larry. We still got it.
Okay. You said you had a second pickup truck. What kind of truck was your second pickup truck?
Dodge Dakota. It was black.
And it was painted with primer, wasn't it?
No, I
was-
painted.
Okay, it was painted flat black. You had painted it with spray paint.
No, I painted with a gun.
Okay. You had sprayed paint. You sprayed it with a gun yourself.
With a car paint gun
Okay.
and an air tank.
Okay. And it was a flat black color, not a shiny color, isn't that
No,
right?
it was shiny.
Shiny color? Okay. And you'd painted over the decals and items on it also, hadn't you?
There weren't no details on it.
So the portion that like said what brand it was and stuff,
No, I didn't know. I taped that off.
you took that off,
Taped it off.
taped it off. Okay. Okay, and then you had 3 vans. Can you tell us what kind of vans you had?
Got an old one Dodge Caravan. I had a
What color was it?
red.
Okay.
I had a 94 Dodge Caravan, red.
Okay.
And I got a white van. I don't know exactly what model it is. It's a can't even think what it is.
I said it was a Vandura. Would that sound familiar?
Yeah.
And what year was it?
I think it's 90-something.
Okay. And then what
It's
else?
a work.
did you-
It's my work van.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
My work van.
And what else did you have?
That's it.
But to be clear, there were 2 Dodge Caravans,
Yes.
both red.
Yes.
So you drove the F-150. You're back by noon. Is that right? And if I said that you originally said you went to Buck's Building Supply in Decaturville, does that sound right?
Bucks Building Supply. I think it's Bucks now. I don't know if it's Bucks in or not. I don't think it was Bucks in. It might have been. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But it's Bucks now.
Okay. And originally, in your alibi, you said that your wife, Janet Britt, was with you the entire day.
The entire day.
You were never apart from one another.
Never.
Okay. And you happened to save the receipt from when you bought the bathtub. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I had to see. Yeah.
You saved the receipt in your safe at your house, didn't you?
I guess so. I mean, I didn't save it. My wife did.
Okay, so your wife saved
She saves all receipts.
She doesn't save all receipts. She saved all the receipts you
Your Honor,
had from that day.
is that a question?
Yes.
I heard a statement. She did not save all receipts.
He does say raw receipts.
And were they all saved in that safe?
No.
The receipts in the safe were the receipts that you had from All Good Salvage where you purchased the tub, wasn't it, in the safe?
I can't answer that question because I was in jail when they got their receipt. I don't know if it's in there or not.
Okay,
I didn't put it in there.
right. And you had a second receipt from All Goods Discount Store from that day, didn't you?
It's a possibility because we go over and buy stuff.
And you had a receipt from that same day, April the 13th, where you had bought a remnant of vinyl, didn't you?
I believe so.
But the All Goods Discount Store is at a different location than All Goods
It's-
Salvage, isn't it?
It's up through Camden up on the right.
And that day you also, so once you got back home, you didn't go anywhere else that day. That was your original alibi, wasn't it?
I believe that's correct. I think that's right.
And to clarify for the record, your wife's name, your current wife and the wife on April the 13th was Janet Britt.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, when the police showed up at your house to talk with you, the first thing you said to them was, "I didn't rape nobody," didn't you?
Right.
And that's before they even said anything to you about what was going on, isn't it?
That's right.
Okay. Because you had already heard that there was a woman missing,
That's right.
because as soon as the Amber Alert went out, your wife number 4 and 5, Brenda Seagraves, had called you, hadn't she?
I don't remember. Maybe.
You don't remember that that's how you found out that there was
It may be.
a woman who was
It may
missing?
be. Maybe.
Do you remember?
I think some of her family or something. I don't. Something about it. I don't remember all of it. But you're probably right.
Do you remember you discussing with her the fact that you hadn't raped?
I'm sorry, that would be hearsay, and he said it's not
He
disputing what
can
she
say
said.
what he said, not what someone
Right.
else said to him.
Do you remember that you talked to her about the fact that you hadn't raped anybody that day?
I talked to her.
Brenda Seagraves.
I don't know if I did that or not. I don't know. I don't know.
So you don't have a memory now of telling Brenda Seagraves you hadn't raped anybody?
It's a possibility I did.
Okay, possible.
Possible.
Okay.
Chances are I did.
Okay, it's a good possibility.
Good possibility.
Now, in fact, you did know Natalie Bobo, didn't you?
I did not.
You had met Natalie Bobo at a party at Kenny Martin's house, hadn't you?
I saw her. I seen her.
Okay. So you had seen Natalie Bobo?
I've never spoke to her. I don't know her.
A matter of
Period.
fact, at that party, you had offended her so much you were asked to leave, weren't you?
No.
And it,
I weren't even at the party no way. I went up there, me and him were doing a job together. I went up there to tell him something about the job. I weren't no party.
you met Natalie Bobo at a party.
She was there drunk, messed up on drugs. Her and some other girl. He had 2 girls there.
And it was a party, is that right?
I don't know if it was a party or not. I weren't at it. I lived right down the road. I went up there to say something about the job we're doing.
Okay. But at some point, you said something to Natalie Bobo, and you remembered that you were asked to leave.
I don't remember that. No.
Okay. And in fact, at one point, you saw Natalie Bobo and Holly Bobo at the Dollar General store in Parsons while you were standing in line, didn't you?
That's not true.
Now, initially, you lied about having a cellular telephone, didn't you?
I lie about what?
Having a cellular telephone,
Who did I lie to?
you lied to investigators.
No, tell me how I lied, and I'll tell you if I did or not.
You denied that you had your own personal cellular telephone, didn't you?
I didn't have a cell. I don't have a cell phone.
On that day,
On that day or any
April
other day.
13th.
I've never had a cell phone.
Okay. There was a cell phone number, it was 733-0303, isn't that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, okay.
And that was a cellular telephone that you used, isn't that correct?
That's correct.
And you carried it with you when you would go out on work jobs, isn't that correct?
That's correct.
And you would call your wife, Janet Britt, on it on a very frequent basis, isn't that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And as part of the sex offender registry, you're required to give them all your telephone numbers that you use, isn't that correct?
That's not correct.
Okay. You had failed to turn over your cellular telephone number to the sex offender registry, hadn't you?
That's not true.
Okay. And that was part of the reason that they violated you on the sex offender registry.
That's not
wasn't
true.
it?
That is absolutely a lie.
Okay. So your wife had a cellular telephone also at the time, didn't she?
That's correct.
And her cellular phone number was, can you remember it now for us?
No.
If I said 733-2513, would that sound right to you?
I'll agree to it. That's fine with me. She had one.
And you all had a home telephone number also,
That's
didn't you?
correct.
Okay. So So you would agree with me, if you and your wife were together all day, there would have been no reason for you to have called her on her cellular telephone, wouldn't you?
That's, yeah, that's correct.
Okay. And so these telephone numbers that your wife had and that you had, you actually bought those phones 1 month before Holly Bobo disappeared, didn't you?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
You don't remember that?
No.
Okay. If there's a record from Walmart in Lexington showing that you purchased that cellular telephone almost 1 month to the day from the day she disappeared, that would...
Well, if you get a record from Walmart saying I purchased the phone, you're in some other world than what I'm in, because we're not in the same world. I've never purchased a phone. I've never purchased a phone
From Walmart?
from Walmart
Or anywhere? Is that
or
what you're saying?
anywhere else.
Okay. So, matter of fact, it's purchased with you had a Super Saver card from Walmart, one that you kind of give them to track your purchases, isn't that right?
That's not right.
Sometimes you would also buy little credit cards from Walmart to buy gas with in Lexington, didn't you?
No.
Okay. So you never had little cards
No.
you purchase in the store and then go outside and buy gas?
No.
And you would buy extra minutes because phones were prepaid phones, weren't they?
No.
And your phones worked on the AT&T cellular network, didn't they?
I believe that's Verizon, and I believe we've had both.
Okay. So the one that you had on the day that Holly disappeared, those two cellular telephones, they worked on the Verizon, they worked on the AT&T network, didn't they?
Whatever she had at that time, I mean, if you say it's AT&T, you must have the record. I don't know.
And 2 days before Holly disappeared, you went back and bought additional cellular telephone minutes, didn't you?
Why would I go buy minutes when I don't have a minute phone? What are you talking about? I mean,
You had a phone at the time that you had to buy prepaid minutes for, didn't you?
prepaid minutes.
So
I don't.
you would buy phone cards for the prepaid minute phone.
My
wouldn't
wife would get a card, yeah. A card, yeah.
Okay, and when you would buy a card, it would have prepaid minutes for the phone, didn't it?
No, it's unlimited. There's no minutes.
Okay, so sometimes you would buy an entire month of...
No, it ain't sometimes. Always unlimited. Always.
So if the phone records from Walmart show something different, they would just be wrong?
I believe that's correct.
Okay. And 2 days before, or shortly before Holly disappeared, you went out and bought a large quantity of silicone lubricant, didn't you?
Silicone loop.
Yes.
Oh, I got all kind of, I do remodeling work.
Okay. A month after Holly disappeared, you went out and bought a brand new chainsaw, didn't you?
No. That's
You did not buy a new chainsaw shortly
No.
after she disappeared?
No, that's not true.
Okay. And at some point in the past, before Holly disappeared, you had also bought new telephones at the Radio Shack there in Parsons, hadn't you?
I think my wife got a contract phone. I got it one time. I can't remember what year that was in though, but I think it was, I don't know, it was a long time before anything about Holly come up. But we done got rid of that, and she done got another phone. But because kept it 2 years, because his contract's 2 years. So at one time she got a phone there contract.
You were also doing work on the side as a carpenter, like you just said, weren't you?
I do remodeling work. I work for myself, yes.
Okay. And you worked some with Kenny Martin doing remodel work?
One job.
Okay. You all put an ad in the paper together to do remodel work?
That's correct.
Because in fact, your wife, Janet Britt, she at one time worked for the News Leader, didn't she?
She was a manager.
She kind of ran the whole front office, didn't she?
Pretty much.
And at one time, she was the one who did she was the Girl Friday. She did practically everything except a reporter, didn't she?
As news leader?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And she was very important at the News Leader, wasn't she?
Yes.
Okay. And when the bathtub you said was leaking, but you did not install the new tub that you purchased on that day, April the 13th, did you?
No.
Okay. It was actually a couple of weeks later before you installed the bathtub, wasn't it?
Probably.
And I think earlier I said that your number was 3030, but it was 731-733-0306. That sounds about right, doesn't it?
I don't know. I don't remember.
So, the police first began to come talk to you about your possible involvement in the Holly Bobo case in around August of 2011, didn't they?
I don't know. I can't remember. I don't know. I don't remember when he come talk to me.
Okay, you were a smoker up until the time you went to the TDC, weren't you?
Yes.
A heavy smoker, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Okay. And there were allegations that you had been stalking some women in the Parsons area, weren't there?
Not that I know of. I didn't hear about it.
As a matter of fact,
Your Honor, I'm going to object. If he's never heard about it, how can you be asked questions about it?
Well, he responded to their question, he'd never heard anything about
Right.
those allegations.
And then she
So he's
responded-
already said he knew nothing about it.
right, well, I was going to ask him specifically because I think one of the reasons he got in trouble and got locked up was...
Okay, this is the time when we're just trying to speech make for the jury. He's a
All right.
sex
I'm not-
offender. They always look at him.
He said he had not heard any allegations.
Okay,
So you can't ask him about specific allegations that he's not heard about.
okay,
All right?
fine. You have a refrigerator trailer truck at your house, don't you? It's painted green.
I have a It's not a refrigerator truck. No, we bought it to store stuff in to clean the house out.
It was actually not cooled by a refrigerator, it was cooled by
18 wheeler
ice.
pulls it.
Pardon?
It's when you pull behind an 18 wheeler,
Right.
whatever you call it. We bought one of them, paid $1,000 for it to
And-
store stuff in.
Okay, and it's actually was initially made to be refrigerated by ice. I mean,
Huh?
you put chunks of ice in it. It didn't have a refrigerator on it. You just put chunks of ice in it, and it kept things cool inside. Is that right?
I'm sorry.
Where'd you
is
get
she
that
asking-
information at?
Ma'am, there's an objection. Is she saying that he did that, or that that was what the original trailer was for?
I'm saying that's what the original purpose was for.
In which case, unless he knows what the purpose of the trailer was for, it's irrelevant, and he can't speculate.
I have no idea about no ice in a trailer or none of that mess there you're talking about. We bought the trailer to store stuff in.
It's insulated, isn't it?
What do you mean insulated? Everything's insulated.
Okay, so that's a yes, it's insulated?
Well, I guess it is. I mean, I don't know if, I guess so.
Okay.
It ain't insulated for ice. Whole ice in, no.
Is it insulated to hold cold things in?
No. No way.
And we heard about your past convictions, but you have 2 past convictions for rape, don't you?
Yes.
And you have 2 past convictions for sexual assault, don't you?
Yeah, well, counting this one now, yeah.
Now, I'm talking about one from Lexington, Henderson County.
Okay.
Okay. And then you had one from Gibson County in 1980s.
Henderson County. I ain't got one in Henderson County. I mean, I know. What are you talking about? So tell me what do you mean?
Well, you have one that you got like in 1978.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Right.
And then you had one that you got in the mid-80s.
Okay, yes,
Okay. And then now you're serving one.
yes,
Okay. So that would be 3
yes,
total convictions.
yes.
Now, when you spoke to the police officer or law enforcement on the day on April the 13th, 2011, they initially came to your house late in the afternoon that day, early evening, didn't they? That's when you spoke to the officer.
Can you tell me who it was coming out there?
Do you remember speaking to Tony Weber on that day? Jeremy Pratt?
I don't remember that, no, I don't remember.
Do you remember that it was in the late afternoon, early evening when they came by and talked to you?
They ain't no, you talking about deputy sheriffs?
Yes.
No, they didn't come out there and talk to me.
On the day she disappeared?
They pulled up in the driveway and asked me where I'd been. Then they left. That's it.
That's what I'm talking about, though.
Okay, that's it.
Okay. And it was late afternoon, early evening?
No, it
when
was in
they
the
came?
morning. I told you that.
So your testimony
I
is
just
it
got
was in
back.
the
I
morning?
just got back with the bathtub. I just unloaded it and put it in my shop trailer.
So
Me and
your
my wife.
testimony...
Me and my wife was right there. The truck was sitting right there in front of my shop trailer. We just got through unloading it,
Okay.
and they pulled up.
And your testimony today is that was before noon?
I believe that's correct. I believe.
Okay. At some point, it was end of January 2012 when officers came and did a thorough search of your house and your property, isn't it?
They come out there that day. Yeah.
I said it was late January 2012.
That's probably correct.
And they actually came out to your house twice, didn't they?
What do you mean? I mean,
Well, they came to search your house on 2 separate occasions.
not that I know of. I was there only once. They might have done it after I was, later on locked up or something, but only at one time I told you about a while ago. I mean,
Okay.
where they stayed out there all day.
So they let you go after they came out and searched it the first time, didn't they?
Yes.
They released you from custody.
Yes.
Okay. And then when you went back home, one of the first things that you are heard saying on the wiretap is to your sister. You have a sister named Sherry Manis, don't you?
Yes.
Okay.
And, Your Honor, I'm going to object at this point, unless he has knowledge of what he was overheard saying, because he said he didn't even know they attacked
You can
him.
ask him if he said that.
So you
don't start by saying, this is on the wiretap, whatever. You can ask him if he had a conversation with his sister. You can ask him what he said, not what she said.
You had a conversation with your sister where you said, be careful what you say. And then you specifically said they may be recording in our home. Didn't you say that?
I don't know.
You remember thinking that though, of course, don't you? That they might have been recording in your home.
Well, look here. If you've been through what I've been through, you'd be the same way. So I don't know if I said it. If I said it, I said it. If I didn't, I didn't. I don't know.
Well, explain what that same way
I don't trust no
is.
law.
You don't?
No.
Okay. And why is that?
Why is that?
Did you hear what he said?
He said he doesn't trust the law.
Okay.
And why is that?
Well, you tell me. You should know.
Well, I'd like for you to please tell the jury. The jury's.
I don't have enough time. I ain't going through all my I'm not going to do that.
Can you start with reason number one?
By the way,
why-
I've been done dirty by 'em.
And how do you mean they've done you dirty?
Let's
I'm gonna check
try
the
to move
evidence.
on. This is collateral, what he thinks or doesn't think of the law.
Okay. So when they came out to search your house, they actually took 2 of your vehicle, or 3 of your vehicles that day, didn't they? When they searched your house, they seized them?
I think he took 2. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. They definitely took the white Vandura, didn't they?
Yes.
And they definitely took 1 of the red GMC vans.
Dodge.
I'm sorry, Dodge vans.
Yes.
Okay. And also, cadaver dogs hit on 4 tools at your house that day, didn't they?
I don't know what they hit on. I was in jail.
Would it surprise you to know that cadaver
Okay,
dogs hit
All
on
right,
4?
he said he wasn't there.
And whether he was surprised or not, doesn't matter.
All right, improper.
Okay. So, at one time, you had a friend named Skip Boney, didn't you?
Yes.
And you and Skip Boney would go sit and drink beer under Interstate 40. At Bible.
No, we wouldn't sit at no Interstate 40 and drink beer. We
And-
ride around, drink beer, and get drunk, yeah.
And you would sit over there by County Corner Road.
Where's that? I don't even know where it is.
Um,
Tell me where it is, and I'll tell you if I've been there or not.
You certainly know where the creek on Gooch Road is, by Hornyhead Creek on Gooch Road,
Yes.
don't you? Okay. I mean, that's close to your house, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. And the state asked you about John Holiday Road, but you know where Joe Holiday Road is as it meets Bible Hill Road, don't you?
Joe Holiday.
Yes.
I ain't never heard of it.
Okay. You know where Bible Hill Road is, don't you?
Yes.
And you know where Holiday Road is, don't you?
Jeanette Holiday Road, yes.
And there's also just a plain Holiday Road over there in that area too, isn't there?
I guess.
Well, you just testified you drive around
Well,
a
first
lot.
of all, hold up, look here. I'm from Lexington, Tennessee. I'm not from Parsons or so I don't know, I don't pay attention to numbers and road signs. I pay attention to which way I go.
You lived over there off of Jeanette Holiday Road for 10 years or more.
Yes.
Okay. And as you just testified, you drive around at night drinking beer with your friend Skip Boney.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say I rode around at nighttime drinking beer with Skip Boney.
Okay, what did
I
you
said
say?
we'd ride around sometime and get drunk.
Okay,
I didn't say if it's day or night. And it was not night, no.
You had a paper route where you delivered papers, didn't you?
Yes,
And you delivered them for the news leader, didn't you?
yes,
And that paper route would start in the evening time, wouldn't it?
yes,
And you would drive and drop papers off at all the convenience stores in the area throughout the whole Decatur County, isn't that right?
yes,
Okay. And it would end at sometime late in the morning, 3 or 4 in the morning, isn't that right?
that's sometimes correct, yes.
Okay. If I can have a moment, Your Honor.
Hey, Your Honor, I get a drink of water. I'm gonna take my medicine, my mouth's dry.
Get a water, please.
Do I need to wait for your water, or can you go ahead?
If you don't mind, we'll go ahead, that's okay. Thank you. Okay.
At the time they searched your house, you had more than one home computer, didn't you?
Yes,
And at the time they searched your house, you had been Googling video searches under the words rape, abduction, kidnapping, hadn't you?
I don't know. I don't know.
Possible.
Possible.
Okay. And you had been watching pornography of the subjects rape, kidnapping, and abduction, hadn't you?
I don't know, it's possible.
You liked pornography, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, at the time that the Amber Alert went out, all that was known was that there was a woman who was missing. That's all the information they had, isn't
Your
it?
Honor, I'm going to object. He doesn't know what information they had.
That's all the information you had, was that a woman was missing.
I believe that's correct. I mean,
Initially, there were no allegations of any type of rape, were there?
And again, Your Honor,
He said he did not know.
Okay, that's all I'm just trying to confirm, is he did not know about allegations of rape.
If he said he did not know, then we're not going to go specifically down if there were allegations of this. He said he did not know. Let's move on.
Yes, Your Honor. And you have a past charge for burglary. And burglary, the jury may not understand what burglary is.
We're not going to go into what the jury understands.
Well, I know, but Your Honor, I just wanted him to say that it's entering.
under the rule,
Wait. Let's move on.
Yes, Your Honor.
I've already told them that any prior convictions can only be considered for the purpose of what effect, if any, it has on his credibility.
I'm not trying to go into the facts. I'm just not sure the jury understands what a burglary is. It's kind of a technical
You want me-
thing.
you want me to tell you what it is? I'll tell you.
No, I'm going to charge the jury what the law is. Makes
Yes,
no
sir.
understand. It makes no difference if they understand what burglary or any other crime is.
Okay.
They can only consider those crimes if he has been convicted for the purpose of his credibility.
Yes, Your Honor. Now, when I came to visit you in jail, you had admitted to me that at the time the police searched your house, you actually were in possession of a gun, didn't you?
I think so. I'm not sure. I believe that. Yeah.
You were, in fact, at the time they searched your house in possession of a gun that you had hidden from them, weren't you?
Let's see now. When they searched, you talking about the day they come out here and spend all day searching the house?
Yes.
No, I didn't have no guns. No.
But you recognize that the conversation that we had while you were in jail.
Yeah, I had two
recorded-
guns there when they come out there one time, but they didn't search. But they come out there. They just looked on the computer. Yeah, I had two guns. Had a pistol and a 25 automatic and 22 rifle.
Okay. And you remember that at one time Johnny Walker came to talk to you while you were in jail. Remember the marshal, Johnny Walker, coming to
Yeah, I
talk to
think
you?
that's the one that told me if Jennifer agreed to what I said, they'll let me go without making bond. She agreed to it and they let me go.
You're talking about Jennifer, is it Rawson?
I don't know what her name is. I don't know her last name.
She was the woman from the sex offender
Yes,
registry.
yes.
But do you remember at one time offering to plead guilty to the murder of Holly Bobo if you could get a 20-year sentence?
No.
So
No.
you're saying that is not...
I'm saying that's a lie.
Do you remember Terry Dykes coming out to talk to you about the disappearance of Holly Bobo multiple times?
Oh, yeah, we all know Dykers, don't we?
And you know that he was recording you when he was talking to you, don't you?
No, I didn't know he was recording me.
And when you were talking about the disappearance of Holly Bobo, you at one point might have occurred when she disappeared. And do you remember saying that Holly Bobo had a somewhat perfect body, like a toy, some would say?
No, I didn't say perfect body toy. I said she was from the picture they had on the wall at the glass at the stores. I said she looked good, and I said probably somebody whoever got her probably got her for a sex slave.
For a sex slave?
Yep.
Okay. And do you remember saying that the person who got her, that it wouldn't work because once you took it, you'd have to hide it, you'd have to feed it? Do you remember referring to Holly as an it when you talked to Terry Dykes?
No.
Do you remember saying, you specifically said if you kept it, you would have to hide it, you would have to feed it? So you're denying you said that?
I ain't denying it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I might have said, I don't know.
So you might have said it.
Yeah, I might have said it.
Okay, and do you remember saying that if you killed it, you would have to hide the body? Do you remember saying
I
that?
probably said it.
And do you remember that you specifically referring to Holly Bobo as an it? Do you remember that?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember saying that if the person...
If I did do it, I was being sarcastic with Dykes because of the way he's treating me. So.
Do you remember specifically saying that the person that took her, when they took her, it would have been for their own personal pleasure and have their way with her?
I probably said that.
And that they couldn't wait to get her and be alone with her?
I said whoever got her for more than likely sex purposes.
Okay, and what would those purposes be?
Whatever they want to do.
And you remember specifically saying all that to Terry Dykes, don't you?
I probably did.
Okay. No further questions.
Further direct?
Yes. Mr. Britt, it is safe to say that Terry Dykes and all the other law enforcement involved in this case focused on you.
Yes, they did.
They focused on you because of your history,
Yes,
correct?
correct.
You can't blame them, can you, for looking into your
No,
past?
not really.
And when they came to your house on April the 13th of 2011, it is documented. You were out there with this tub, your wife was there, y'all unloaded, all that, right?
Yes,
Okay. You had the receipts, correct?
yes.
Despite the fact somebody turned over the receipts, something about the times and the places and whatever that you had been, they didn't stop looking at you, did they? In other words, that receipt wasn't enough.
No, I guess they thought it was forward or whatever, I don't know.
Because they put a
They-
wiretap on your phone,
They went over it all good and verified it.
but whatever they found out,
It didn't matter. They kept on digging.
Right. And they got your computers, right? And
Yes,
as Ms. Thompson's pointed out, they looked up to see what you had looked at, right?
right,
And they found out that you looked at porn,
right.
what I would call, bad porn.
Well, let me explain
And
something.
just answer that, right?
Right.
Do you have good porn?
I don't know. But
Well, I was
she
going to explain to the
saying
jury something. When
rape porn.
when you get on the computer, internet, and you start typing porn, all kind of stuff just floods it on their own. It just pops up there. Don't mean you went to it. It's coming there. That's why, and while it's coming there, it's viruses that's doing it. So just because something pops up there that's showing you went and seen this, that don't mean you went and done this, because it's in there. It's coming up once you go in porn. So, you know, I mean,
So
but
Bob,
Dykes was so fixated on me, I guess I don't know.
do you know whether Dykes is still a TBI agent?
No, he's lost his job. I wish he'd get on food stamps.
I object, Your Honor, to him saying he lost
Jeez.
his job. That's not.
He can say.
He almost destroyed my life.
You have knowledge.
That- See, the question was, do you know if Dykes still works for TBI? His question was responsive, but let's move on.
All right, so after all that, you still have to be here today, still answering questions
Yeah.
about something that happened in 2011.
It's like them camera back there. They're gonna plaster me with lies on me from here to China again.
Is it fair to say, Mr. Dykes, that as a result of TBI's investigation, it caused you difficulty?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you understand that even today, Ms. Thompson is asking questions about chainsaws purchased a month before, a refrigerated trailer bought long before? Do you know what she is trying to do?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you one final time.
Objection, Your Honor, as to what he knows I'm trying to do or not. That's speculation.
He's already answered us, maybe.
So, one more time, Mr. Dykes. Sorry, Mr. Britt. Did you have anything to do? Anything at all?
No, I did not.
With the abduction of Holly Bobo?
No, I did not.
The rape of Holly Bobo?
No, I did not.
Putting a bullet in the back of her head?
No, I did not. And I wouldn't do that.
Nothing else?
Now, the receipt that you produced from All Goods, it's a handwritten receipt on an All Goods form, isn't it?
I believe it is.
Okay. And you are aware that All Goods did not have a matching pink receipt for the receipt you had in their store records, aren't you?
I think they verified it. I think they went out there and they verified it, I believe.
It was missing, wasn't it?
He's answering.
Well, if you want to question where or not I bought a tub,
Wait,
you can go to my house and look at.
Wait,
Well, I'm gonna say it right here.
no,
You can
let
go.
me say, he said he had a receipt. You're implying that they might not have had the pink part at All Goods. He does not know what they did or did not have.
He might have, because they may have shared that with him. The investigation may have shared that with him.
Hearsay, move on.
When we talked about the pornography on your computer, you were specifically searching for videos using the term rape, weren't you?
No.
So if it's in your computer history that you were searching on the term rape, that would be inaccurate?
If it's in there saying I particularly did that rape, that'd be a lie.
Okay, and you were specifically searching for abduction, weren't you?
No.
Okay, you were specifically searching for kidnapping, weren't you?
No.
No further questions.
Done. All right. You can step down. Let's take it, it really will be 15 this time, okay? 15. Right there. Raise your right hand, please. Solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Be seated, state your name first and last, and spell it for the benefit of the court reporter.
Anthony Phoenix. ANTHONY PHOENIX.
Proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, Anthony.
Morning, how are
You've come a
you?
long way to get here today, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
You don't have to give us an exact address, but where are you living now?
Texas.
Living in Texas. What are you doing in Texas?
I weld.
And you're working quite a bit these days, aren't you?
Yes, sir. About 110 hours a week.
110 hours a week. So you're losing some cash being here with us today, right?
A little bit.
You have a girlfriend there in Texas too, right?
Yes.
How's she doing?
Good.
How old are you?
32.
32 years old. Things are going pretty well for you now, right?
Yes, sir.
Things haven't always gone this well for you. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You used to live back in Decatur County at some point, right?
Yes.
Where in Decatur did you live?
A few places, but Parsons.
In Parsons. About when was that? Was it around 2010, 11 in that area?
Yes, sir. I didn't move to Texas until 2016, last year.
Okay. So before that, were you pretty much a lifelong resident of that area? I'm calling Decatur County, but that general area?
That and the penitentiary.
That and the penitentiary. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about the problems you had in this area.
I had a drug problem
Okay.
and no funds to help me with my drug problem, so crime was a recurring offense.
All right. So you had to steal stuff to get money to feed your drug habit?
Yes, sir.
And did you get arrested sometimes for those things, stealing things and drugs?
Yes, sir.
You're on parole now, correct?
Yes, sir.
What are you on parole for now?
Promotion, manufacture, and some theft charges.
Okay. Methamphetamine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I always wanted Shane. Do you know Shane?
Yes.
Austin.
Yes, sir.
Did you know him pretty well?
Not too well.
You know Dylan? I'm sorry.
Not too well, but I knew him.
You know Dylan Adams?
Yes, sir.
Did you know Jason Autry?
Not too well, but I knew him.
Did y'all kind of run sort of in the same circles back then?
I ran with some people he ran with. We didn't necessarily run together, but
All right. Did you know Zach Adams?
I did.
You see Zach Adams in the courtroom today?
I do.
Can you point him out and tell us what he's wearing?
Gray suit.
For the record, are you referring to, well, I guess there's red and I'm one gray suit. For the record, the defendant. That's not gray, is it?
Thank you. Did you know the Bobo family?
I did. My foster dad taught school with Miss Karen.
Did you know Holly Bobo? Or no other?
Yes, not personally, but yes.
Do you remember on or about April the 13th,
Yes.
2011? Do you remember when Holly went missing?
Yes, sir.
Where were you when Holly went missing?
I was in jail.
Okay. What were you thinking when you were in jail when you heard she went missing?
Actually, the first word that came out of my mouth was, I wonder where Zach was.
Now, tell us a little bit about what you and Zach used to do back in those days.
Get high.
We were getting high.
We used to get high, and whatever we could do to afford that.
Now, you said that you immediately wondered where Zach was when you heard Holly went missing, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember you got out of jail at some point, right?
Yes.
When was that, if you remember?
I'm not sure. I was doing it 11/29, so maybe, I don't know, maybe October.
Okay. When you got out in October, did you stay in Decatur County in that area?
I did.
Did you get back together with Zach?
I did.
Y'all kept hanging out.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember his demeanor whenever the subject, because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the subject of Holly Bobo going missing, was that a pretty big
Yes.
event in Decatur County?
Yes.
And do you remember what his demeanor was whenever that would come up?
Yes. Sketchy.
Sketchy, what do you mean by sketchy?
Nervous. Well, for instance, I was over there one day, and it was quite a few of us over there, but somebody, I had,
Objection to any kind of hearsay, Your Honor.
You can't say what someone said to you. You can say what you did in response to something that was said to you.
okay, so I brought up the fact that Holly Bobo was mentioned, and Zach proceeded to clear the whole house out.
So was this Zach's house?
Yes,
There were a lot of people over there?
yes,
And somebody said something about the investigation, is that the way it went?
yes.
And his reaction was what?
Clean the house out.
And including yourself?
Yes,
Now, you've indicated that do you know Karen Bobo, or do you know who she is? You said you know the Bobo family. Do you know specifically who Karen Bobo is?
yes, sir.
Do you remember another time when you were talking to Zach, did he mention to you something about a meeting with Miss Bobo?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
He mentioned that he had met with Miss Karen and was real concerned whether or not she believed what he told him, and said he gave her a hug and asked did I think that meant that she believed him. And of course, you know, what I told him was, well, how the fuck would I know? I wasn't there. But he was real concerned with his innocence.
So he had met with Miss Bobo, and she was trying to sort of investigate the case. Was that your impression?
I mean, I don't know why he met with Miss Bobo.
Okay. But he was concerned that the hug, did he say that they hugged?
Yeah, when he left, he hugged her.
And he was worried if that had convinced her of his innocence,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
At this time, were you even aware if that meeting had actually taken place, or did you even know?
No, I wasn't aware of anything.
So Zach just offered that information to you.
Right.
Now, after that, and you've already indicated that you guys, Zach, you had a drug problem.
Right.
And y'all would drive around looking basically for money to sort of fuel the drug problem, correct?
Correct.
Was there a time when you were doing that you can recall after he mentioned Miss Bobo?
Yes, sir. The night before I went to jail, we were actually riding around. Whether or not we was looking for something to steal or just keeping our eyes open for something to get, I don't remember. But he made the comment about something along the lines of, let's rape this bitch. And I looked at him. Of course, I was turning the radio up. I was trying to get him to go pick these four-wheelers up that I had stolen. And I would turn the radio up every time I talked, and he would turn it down. And he made that comment, and I just looked at him. And I said, well, what's this got to do with what we're trying to do right now? And I turned the radio back up. Well, he turned it back down, and just kept talking, and was like, I couldn't have picked a prettier bitch. And and right then it kind of clicked to me, and I told him, well, I don't want to hear about it. And he said something in between that, but in the end, he made the comment that it sure was fun.
And did that shock you?
Did it shock me? No.
So he said, and was there any doubt? Because at this point, you've already indicated he was paranoid whenever something about Holly Bobo would come up, right?
Yes.
And you've already indicated that he was concerned whether or not he had convinced Miss Bobo
Yes.
of his innocence, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then you're driving down the road, and he just comes out, let's rape this bitch, right?
Yes, sir.
And then he says, I couldn't have picked a prettier bitch, correct?
Yes.
And then he said something else that you don't remember exactly what that was?
No, sir.
And then he said it was fun. Is there any doubt in your mind, Mr. Phoenix, that he was talking about Holly Bobo
None.
when he said that?
None.
Thank you, Mr. Phoenix. No further questions.
All right, cross-examination.
Mr. Finks, I'm Jennifer Thompson. I am Mr. Adams' attorney. Now, you gave some statements to the police regarding what Mr. Adams said, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay, one of the statements that you gave was in March of 2014, March 1st.
Okay.
And another statement that you gave was March 5th of 2014. Does that
Okay.
sound about right?
Yes.
Okay. Both of those were after Mr. Adams had been arrested.
Yes.
Okay. Matter of fact, at one time you were fairly good friends with Mr. Adams, weren't you?
Yes.
Okay. You spent some time at his house, even living at his house, didn't you?
I don't know about living, but I spent some time there.
You spent the night at his house,
Yes.
slept over.
Yes.
Okay. And also, you have a past conviction for theft, theft over $1,000. You got a 2-year sentence on that, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am. I have all kinds of past convictions.
Okay. And I'd like to, at this time, pass this up. See, I'd like to pass this to you, see if this reflects the conviction you had.
Judge, I think he's admitting to his convictions.
Okay. Well, I'd like to go ahead and put that into evidence, Your Honor. That it's a certified copy of his conviction.
Not really admissible, he's not denying it.
He's just admitted it.
I know, Your Honor, but it's just a certified copy.
Why do you
For the
need
record.
to file a certified copy if he's admitted?
Well, it's for the record, Your Honor. Just trying to make
The
a
record
point.
clearly established that he admitted a theft over $1,000 and 2-year sentence. Plus, he said, "I've got all kinds of other convictions." It doesn't come in.
May I have this marked for identification, Your Honor? And I'd like just to make it part of the record as a proffer, an offer of proof.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
The exhibit 213 will not be passed to the jury.
And these times when you were around Mr. Adams, you'd also been using drugs, of course.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When you were using meth, isn't that right?
Yes, ma'am.
What other drugs were you using at the time?
Meth.
And you and Mr. Adams were meth buddies, weren't you?
Yes.
And Mr. Adams was a big talker when he'd get high on meth, wasn't he?
No.
He was not a big talker.
No.
Okay. And the times that he was saying these things, you of course were stoned too, weren't you?
Yes.
You were high.
Yes. Not stoned. High.
Okay. Is there a difference to you?
Yes.
Okay. So you say the time that somebody mentioned Holly Bobo, Mr. Adams, or times when people would mention Holly Bobo, Mr. Adams would get a funny look on his face. Can you describe that?
I didn't say anything about a funny look.
I thought you said he'd have a sketchy demeanor.
Right.
Okay. Can you describe what a sketchy demeanor means to you?
Paranoid.
Paranoid. So paranoid, what does that mean to you?
What's the definition?
Well, I'm asking you, what's your definition of paranoid?
Something to hide.
Okay, so how did he have a sketchy, paranoid demeanor? What were some of the things he would do? What were his physical actions?
Well, if we were having a good time, we wouldn't be. Like I said, there was 6, 7 of us at the house having a good time. Everybody got to leave now.
Okay, so at some point he just says, you know what, I'm done with the party, everybody out.
No, not at some point. At the point I mentioned Holly Bobo.
Okay, he says, everybody out of the house.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything
well,
else?
No.
No? Okay. And when you say that you all were riding around together, and you're in your car, is that right? When he's talking about rape?
No. We're in his truck.
Okay, in his truck, and the music's on.
Yes.
Now, he never specifically said Holly Bobo, did he?
No.
Okay. And that's something that you've assumed he meant?
Yes.
Okay. And you know that at some point your name came up in this investigation as you being possibly involved.
Too bad I was locked up.
That's fortunate for you, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
But you're aware that your name did come up as you being possibly involved?
No, but not something I would do, high or sober.
But I'm not asking about that. You knew that at different points, different people, rumors were that you had been involved.
No,
No?
No.
You weren't aware of those rumors?
no.
Okay. I can have a minute. Now, when you say Mr. Adams said something about rape, it was future tense. You're saying today he said, "Let's rape this bitch." Is that right?
Yes.
So it was future tense, not past tense.
If that's what you want. I don't know. He said, "Let's rape this bitch." So whether it was future or past, I don't know.
Okay. And then when he said, "I couldn't have picked a prettier bitch, it sure was fun," he didn't specifically say anything in that sentence about rape, did he?
No, not in that sense.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Anything else?
Just a couple of
Okay.
You've come up here all the way from Texas to tell the truth today, right?
Yes, sir.
And you've told us about your background,
Yes.
but you're doing much better today, right?
Yes.
Is there any doubt in your mind when you're driving around with this man you've identified as Zach Adams, given the entire context of everything you knew about him, when he said, "Let's rape this bitch," then he said, "I couldn't have picked a prettier bitch, it was fun," that he was talking about the rape and murder of Holly Bobo?
No, sir.
Nothing further, Judge.
So after he said that, Mr. Adams made those statements, you were so concerned and so convinced he meant Holly Bobo, you booted him out of, or you jumped out of the truck and you went straight to the police and told them about this, didn't you?
Do you have it on paper that I did? No, I didn't.
Okay. No further questions.
All right. Done?
Yes, sir.
You can step down. Please don't discuss the testimony you've given in the court.
Yes, sir.
You're excused. Call your next.
One moment, Your Honor. Jamie Darnell, state call Jamie Darnell.
Raise your right hand, please. solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Be seated in that chair. State your first and last name and spelling for the court reporter, please.
Jamie Darnell, Jamie Darnell.
All right, Steve.
Darnell, you're going to need to speak into that because you're kind of soft-spoken, so speak directly into that microphone, okay?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Darnell, I'm not going to ask you where you live, but what area do you live in?
North end of the county. North end of Decatur County.
Northern Decatur County?
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived in Northern Decatur County?
Pretty much my whole life.
Do you know a man named Zachary Adams?
Yes, sir.
Do you see Mr. Adams in the courtroom?
Yes, sir.
Point him out, please. You understand that's the record reflecting.
Record, the defendant.
How long have you known Mr. Adams?
Pretty much his whole life. When since he was about 5, he started riding the bus, same school bus I did.
You rode the same school bus as
Yes,
he
sir.
did? Are you familiar with the case that has been known as the Holly Bobo case from April of 2011?
Yes, sir.
Do you know that because you live in Decatur County?
Yes, sir.
Fair to say that was big news in Decatur County.
Yes, sir, it was.
Did you know Miss Holly Bobo?
No, sir.
Do you know any of her family?
Miss Bobo taught 4th grade.
Do you know Miss Karen Bobo?
Yes, sir.
Being a school teacher?
Yes, sir.
We'll take it to July 2012. Did you own or have a home in Decatur County?
Yes, sir. Yellow Springs Road.
And did Mr. Zach Adams come to your house in July of 2012?
Yes, sir.
Tell this jury what happened in July of 2012 when Zach Adams came to your house.
He came over to the house one night and it was, he was feeling pretty good, you know, and he wanted to go to the bathroom and share some drugs with me. We went to the bathroom.
You said he was feeling pretty good. What do you mean by that? What
I
did you
just-
observe about him that night, Mr. Garner?
It seemed like he was just wound up, like he had, you know, energetic and stuff, you know, having a, you
He was
know,
under the influence of drugs?
yes, sir.
All right, you went into the bathroom?
Yes, sir. He approached me with a syringe, wanted to shoot me up with some meth, and I refused. I don't do the needle thing. Never have, and
Now, you used drugs, though. You did use drugs, correct?
yes, sir.
You're not proud of that, are you?
No, sir, not at all. Not at all.
Did you do methamphetamine?
Yes, sir.
You didn't do it with a needle, though, did you?
No, sir.
You don't like needle dope, do you?
No, sir.
Is that what Mr. Adams wanted to do that night?
Yes, sir.
All right, I interrupted you. Go ahead about what's going on in that bathroom.
Well, he wanted to do that, and I was trying to get it the other way, any other way than the needle. He it seemed like he got agitated, kind of upset him a little bit.
Mr. Adams got agitated and upset?
Yes,
Go ahead
sir.
and speak up, Mr. Barnett.
I'm sorry.
Look at the jury. Speaking of that microphone, okay?
Yeah, it seemed like he got upset and kind of bothered over it, like like he was offended or something.
Did you think he was mad at you because you wouldn't do needle dope with him?
Yes, sir. Seemed like it was. Seemed like it was bothering him. He
You
showed
didn't do the needle dope.
no, sir. He showed me a knife that he had, and I was kind of like intimidated by it or something, trying to intimidate me with it. And I asked him to look at it, and I was checking it out, and asked him how much he would take for it. And he told me that if I knew what that knife had done, that I'd probably be afraid to hold the knife. And I was like, is it involved what I think it is? And he just smiled, and I gave it back to him.
What were you talking about? The Holly Bobo case?
Yes, sir.
So you didn't get that knife?
No, sir. No, sir. I gave it back immediately. We proceeded outside the bathroom. As we walked out of the bathroom, my girlfriend at the time was sitting on the couch watching TV, facing the open door. It was hot,
Open door, is that the front door?
The
back
front door, yes, sir. Yes, sir. The front door. And I didn't even know how to pistol with him. He pulled the pistol out and shot it right over top of her head out the front door. I took the gun from him.
Mr. Adams shot that gun?
Yes, sir.
Over the top of the girlfriend's head, out the front door.
Yes, sir. I mean, like a foot over top of her head. It was close.
Do you know he had a gun?
No, sir.
What happened after he shot the gun over your girlfriend's head out the front door?
I kind of pushed the gun down toward the floor, and kind of the side door led outside was to his right, so I kind of pushed the gun down and walked him toward the door and told him, he couldn't be doing that and acting like that around in my house. He couldn't be doing stuff like that.
Did it scare you?
Yes, sir.
Surprise you?
Yes, sir.
What was Mr. Adams, what was his emotional state while he had this condition he was in that you described, and after he had shot that gun over your girlfriend's head out the front door?
Well, after he did that, as soon as we made the exit of the house, he broke down and started crying. I took the gun from him, and he was crying. He was apologetic, and he immediately started apologizing for what he was doing.
When he was crying and apologetic for what he was doing, where were you all standing?
We were standing on the, I guess it'd be the west side of the house at the time, on the other side door.
Outside?
Yes, sir.
Do you know why he was crying?
He just having a breakdown, like he was, finally at wit's end or something. I really couldn't tell. Kind of remorseful, I guess it was, for what he'd done, toward the gunshot and everything.
What did you tell him that night after that gunshot about things?
I told him that I couldn't have him come back around to the house like that, acting like that. I got my kids coming over and stuff, and I didn't want any kind of trouble. I didn't want stuff like that happening over the house. I tried to handle it with kid gloves the best that I could. he has a reputation of, the guy you don't want to make mad at you, so you kind of can't be forceful to running somebody like that off your house. So I kind of pampered it the best I could, and I told him that until he cleared his name of everything, of all the accusations and everything, he wasn't welcome back home or back at my house. He said that,
So, let me make sure I understand. You've got to speak up.
I'm sorry.
You're kind of nervous. You're nervous, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
You're also shy.
Yes, sir.
He was crying.
Sounds like they're on you.
You smell something?
We do too. Like they turned the heat on.
Smells like it's on the heater.
The heat.
I'm telling you, it smells like that back here. I smell it, you smell it.
I smell it. What's going on? It's the heat. I think it's back on, no?
We take a
Let's just go ahead and take a lunch recess till we get our climate figured out, okay? It's one thing if we get a little warm, it's something else if they turn the heat on. It might be a few minutes before your lunch comes in. We'll take right at an hour without it.